Resources by Renee, and we are here with Chapter 13, continuing our Proverbs Challenge, Pathway to Wisdom. I have a special guest here today, and I'm so glad I could connect with him because he's a busy man. We have Calvin with us today. Hi, Calvin.
How's everybody doing today? So my name is Calvin. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction, your family to me. So love
Oh,
you,
yeah.
love Mr. John, love everybody, love Caleb, love the boys. So thank you so much for this opportunity again today for allowing the Lord to use me and speak through me. So my chapter today was Proverbs 13. My name again is Calvin Freeman, and I'm a student athlete at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. This is my sixth year actually playing basketball there, and I'm pursuing a master's of business and still deciding, walking it out what life after basketball, after college looks like. But will love to stay involved in either coaching or the game of basketball and something involved in ministry. So that's kind of what my future will possibly look like if it's the Lord's will. And so today we're going to be reading out of Proverbs 13. And I love the book of Proverbs because the book of Proverbs is the book of wisdom, right? And so it teaches us how to live wisely here on earth. And living with wisdom is very important. Living with wisdom is so important. It keeps you away from things that you don't have to go through, right?
Yeah.
And so my favorite verse, I want to first just touch on a verse that really just stuck out to me. It was actually verse 13 and 20, and I'll just read it if that's okay. It says, "The one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm." I'll read that one more time. It says, "The one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm." This one just touched my soul so deeply because we often don't realize that those that we allow to influence us really carry so much weight in our lives, right? And so the Bible
Absolutely.
really clearly instructs us, right, that if you walk with the wise, you become like the wise, right? But if you are a companion of fools, you'll become like them, right? You'll suffer the harm that they suffer, right? And so how many know that like all wisdom is biblical, right? So a lot of people growing up, you hear you're a product of your environment, right? Or watch who you hang around, but that's a biblical principle. 1 Corinthians 15 also teaches us that don't be fooled, right? That bad company corrupts good morals. So it's very important who we allow to let into our lives because they can ultimately uh, it shows the trajectory of where our life is going. So it's very important. You can probably touch on that too. It's very important, like who we
Yeah,
allow.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything you say, I even have it outlined in my Bible as your circle of friends.
Circle.
You
Right.
know, it's so important that the people we hang around with is it's going to be an influence. So
hmm
you want to have good influence, and
Yes.
they say also if you want to see your future, see who you're hanging with.
There you
You
go.
know,
Right.
and
hmm
I particularly like to hang around with wisdom people of the older generation because I
Right.
can learn so much. And let's face it, grandma, mama, and them, they ain't gonna tell you anything wrong.
Come
They're
on.
gonna make sure you're doing right.
Right.
So I love to surround myself with wisdom. So I loved how you point that out, your circle, your friends, because your generation too, so you're so bombarded all the time with
Yeah.
different things, and
hmm
we're so easy to get engulfed in things that are really not of the word. So
That's
having
true.
friends to kind of be an accountability is
hmm
huge. It's
Yeah,
huge. So
that's
that's
true.
good.
Like you said, if you want to hang out with, if you're around positive people, you're going to become positive. If you're around negative people, you're going to be like them. You're going to be negative. If you want to succeed in life, and you're around people who don't want anything out of life, that's ultimately what your life is going to look like, right? And next, how many ever so often you hang out with them. But another one that just really encouraged and inspired me is in the beginning. I wanted to start with 20 because it just like jumped out off the
Yeah.
page, right?
Yeah, go right
but
ahead. Yeah.
but two says 2 and 3 says for the fruit of his mouth a person will enjoy good things, but treacherous people have an appetite for violence. It says the one who guards his mouth protects his life. The one who opens his lips invites his own ruin. And so again, it's another biblical principle about our words, right? And how powerful our words are.
Yes.
13 encompasses so many good, so
It
much good wisdom,
does.
but
It really
uh,
does.
yeah, those first two are just, again, show like the importance of the words that we speak, right? Like, the fruit of his mouth, the person will enjoy good things, but treacherous people have an appetite for violence. So again, like, you can either bring life with the words that you speak, or you can bring death upon you and others by the very words that you speak. So positive self-talk, right? Speaking to others, because um, the Lord created this world by speaking it into existence. So be careful
Right.
with the words that you say.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we just got to think before we speak.
Mm-hmm. That's
Because
true.
like you said, the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be careful that we're speaking blessings over
Right.
people and not, speaking, curses. And we have to be careful. There's so much power in words. So thinking, and it's funny, this chapter was meant for you, Calvin, because I'm just thinking how, you are such a role model for young people. And, everything about this is, I could see that you follow this. Anytime I see you ministering, you're just speaking life. Whenever I see you, you just radiate. And there was verse 6 talks about righteousness and benefit of doing right things, and that we're the light of the world,
God is good.
yeah, that's what I see in you. When I see you, and
Yeah.
I see you in doing Shine with those young kids, and
Mm-hmm.
I see that you're just letting God's light shine through you. And it's just, that's why I said verse 6 was amazing. I'm going to go to that.
Yeah.
It says
Okay.
righteousness, being in right standing with God, guards the one whose way is blameless, but wickedness undermines and overthrows the sinner. But
Mm.
again, righteousness, our light has to shine through us doing the right thing. we
Mm-hmm.
we are ambassadors of Christ. We have the character of Christ within us, so we have to constantly be careful, because people are watching.
That's
They're
true.
always watching.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when you think no one's watching, there's somebody watching.
That's true.
And you don't know who's like looking up to you as a role
Mm-hmm.
model. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to be careful, especially when we say we're Christians,
Yeah.
and they're ready to find something that you're not doing right.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah,
But
we
what
have
what
to
what
be.
a privilege it is to represent
Oh my goodness,
God.
yes.
There's the goodness of Him, right? And just the privilege it is for
Absolutely.
us to be able to know Him and to just fall in love with Him each
Absolutely.
and every day. I think that's the benefit of again being in a relationship with Him, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And people are
yeah.
drawn to you. I've
Any,
seen the kids. They're drawn to you. They want to know what is
mhm.
it that you have. That's what we're supposed to be doing. I want what you got.
Yeah,
How do you get
right.
that?
Hmm.
So that I'm
Yeah,
telling
that's
you,
true.
this chapter was all you right here.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
Thank you. Anything else that really just like that you've seen in 13 that could be useful for
Well,
somebody, that we can help encourage
yeah,
somebody today?
for sure. I mean, when it talks about chapter, I think it's verse 17. Let me go to that right now, and I really want to touch on this, because about pretense, I think that's chapter 17. I wrote it down. A wicked messenger falls into
Hmm.
hardship, but a faithful ambassador brings healing. And
Hmm.
we just got to be careful of my heart goes out when we're using social media to pretend to be something that we're not.
Yeah.
And you know, life may not always be perfect. It's
Right.
not going to be perfect.
Nope.
But we have to remember to stay true to who we are,
Hmm.
and don't fall into what you see on social media and
Hmm.
do the comparison thing. And
Right.
everyone was born with a purpose. And I
Hmm.
love that everyone has different giftings, because first of all, we'd be a boring world if we were all the same.
Right.
And but at the same time, we all have a part to play.
Hmm.
And so, but when you're doing the compare, there's no one that can be Calvin but
That's
Calvin.
true. Hmm. Right
There's
back
no
at
one that
you.
there's nobody that can be me, and
Yes.
we just got to embrace that, because we're made in the image of Christ, and
Hmm.
he made us the way we are. Whatever it
Hmm.
is, that's the way he made us.
Yeah.
And we fall into sometimes the social media world. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, so that's a really good one. Again, just knowing your purpose, right? Like knowing that the Lord has a purpose for you and you specifically, and our ultimate purpose is to get people to know Him more, right? And so and to bring Him glory through our lives. And so it is so easy to get caught up in seeing what everyone else is doing, but we're at our own pace, right? Our relationship with Him, our journeys are all different. But if we stay faithful to the journey, right, and know that the Lord is actually using it to build character, build hope, to again reveal to us what our actual purpose is, then you can join that. But once you start, like you said, like looking on the outside and starting to compare yourself to people, it robs you of confidence, right? And so
It
just
really
being
does.
careful of that and not, yeah, not, when you say that, I think it's the second commandment, right? About like covetousness, right? And how the Lord warns them not to covet, right? And like that principle that He warns them is still applicable today in the commandment that when you covet, right, is actually it goes against our design. It goes against what we were intended to do. And so I
Right.
think that it's a relationship between comparison and covetousness. So
That's good. That's
yeah,
good. And it all comes back around because if you have a circle of friends
uh-huh.
that like you for who you
You
are and
are.
not
That's true.
pretending to be something, like, we used to had a term when we were younger about being a copycat.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
copycatting, but,
Come on.
just, being an individual, being unique is good,
Yes.
and as long as you are
Yes.
living a righteous life with
Mm-hmm.
it. So it all comes together in that way. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. And, it talks about humility and
That's
pride.
a good one too.
The correction and discipline and pride. I think this is verse
Yeah.
16 about self discipline. Every
Mm-hmm.
prudent and self disciplined man. I'm reading out the Amplified.
Okay.
Every prudent and self disciplined man acts with knowledge, but a closed minded fool who refuses to learn displays his foolishness for all
Wow.
to see. And
That's so good.
that's you
That's
know,
loaded. Like this Proverbs is so loaded, right? Again,
it,
I like you said before we hopped on, you were like, it's good to read like Proverbs to see like, Lord, this is where I need help. Like slaps you in the
yeah,
face, like, okay, I'm doing good with this one, but like this one, I need some help and some patience with. But yeah,
yeah,
that's a great one. That's a great one.
yeah. That pride, pride is a sneaky little thing. It shows up
Mm-hmm.
in so many different places, and
Yes.
but we need to strive for humility, which
Mm-hmm.
is the opposite of pride. But the correction and discipline, is so
Mm-hmm.
important. And I know you come from, a background where you were in the church, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just don't want to hear it,
Yeah.
and but it is for our own good because
That's
we
true.
have to be corrected so we're not going out there and really making a fool of ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
being corrected in public, where you're doing some wrong things. And like, again, we like to use that social media, we're putting all this stuff out there, but just correction and discipline is so important. And this is what we sometimes we don't want to be disciplined, we don't want to be corrected, it hurts that pride,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
I
true.
just want to do things my way.
Yeah.
But it's here to tell you that that's not the way that's of the Lord.
That's
And if
true.
you want to reap the benefits, you have to definitely follow the ways of the righteous. So yeah,
That's so good, and like it teaches us to like love that correction, right? Even though it's hard and it stings,
it
right?
stinks.
We're to love it. And for all my athletes out there, like I play basketball, right? And so the goal, right, of a basketball team, any team, right, is to win. And so that's the goal, is to win. And so you have coaches and players, right? And so coach is usually the one that's like, no, don't do that, or telling the team like how they what they need to do to win. And so if you don't listen, right, to those to what your coach says, like you're not going to win games, and it's not going to be good for you. And so it's important to listen to those who have that wisdom,
Excellent.
who've been there before and who know, like, again, a basketball coach, right, who knows, like, can teach you defense, can teach you how to score a layup. But if you do it the wrong way, you're not going to score. You're not going to pass the right way. You're not going to play right
Right.
defense. And so it's very important to listen to that correction. And correction shows that you want to get better, right? If you want to get better, you want to win. So that's kind of how I'm reminded of it. It's not to put you down. It's nothing personal, but it's to get you better.
But
So that's how
let's
yeah.
face it, Calvin, like we were saying, somebody's watching. You
Yeah.
don't know who's watching you and saying,
Hmm.
wow, that young man out there is coachable.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
anybody would love to be around to mentor to someone that's coachable or teachable.
Mhm.
No one wants to sit there and have to be
Yep.
sitting there giving out their wisdom and their
Yeah.
instruction when you're sitting there like, all right, cool. Yeah,
I
I'll do
got
it.
it. Right.
I
That's
got
pride.
it.
Pride.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna be so honest. I mess up in life every single day on the basketball court every single day, right? But it's just having that you said earlier, like that humility, like Lord, like I need you, Coach, I need you, parents, I need you, and like I need that. I need to get better in all areas of my life because I have not made it or arrived in any area, and it's just that continue like hunger and strive to get better, right? To like you said, to be
absolutely.
coachable. And I know you have, yeah, I know you have that, and I know it's about again the people who we surround ourselves around. If you are around a group of toxic people, you feel like you gotta blow your chest up and like be prideful. That's not a good look. You should be around people who want to build you up, and you can be
Exactly.
vulnerable in those environments of not feeling like you have to. You're inferior, but actually you want to just get better, right? You don't have it all
That's
together yet.
And I love that you said that because I even tell my own children that even when you're choosing a relationship, get into involved with another partner,
Hmm.
um, that person should be trying to build you up, not
Right.
hold you back. And
Hmm.
it works in so many different ways, whether it's on the job, whether it's just your boys that you hang out with. But if you're choosing someone to spend the rest of your life with, is it someone that's going to constantly want to see you grow, and it
Hmm.
should be both ways, and encouraging you to
Right.
be better than yesterday. So those things are
Hmm.
so important. Your circle, encouraging you to be better, and I want to see that, and genuinely want to see that, and not have that okay, attitude is
Right.
like, yeah, do you think you're
Hmm.
better? No, listen, if I win, you win. Let's
Right.
all win together. That's how I
Let's
look
win
at it. Let's
together.
all
Hmm.
let's all win together. So,
Right. No
but that's all.
competition. No, like you said, no comparison. Then
Yeah.
let's all win together. Right.
Let's all win together. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
That's
Listen,
awesome.
you've been amazing. Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
Yeah.
God bless you and
Yeah.
your future and your master's degree. You're doing it
Yeah.
up. Yes, I love it.
God is good. He
God
gets the
is
glory.
good.
Hmm.
Yes, we do. We give all glory. And thank you for being with us to discuss chapter 13. And we will see you
Yeah.
and see you on the court. I want to be able to come see you play games.
Yes,
So let
ma'am.
us
Love
know.
you, Miss Renee.
All right. Love you too,
That was the
honey.
Proverbs Challenge with Miss Renee and special guest Mr. Calvin Freeman. Another amazing segment full of knowledge and full of understanding for this generation coming up. Something that stuck out to me in this chapter was verse 20, and it was basically talking about just really paying attention to your surroundings, paying attention to who you're allowing to pour into your life. And it's so easy for us, especially this younger generation coming up, to get engulfed in things that really don't matter and really aren't going to push us into the things of God and push us closer to the purpose of God's calling on our lives. And it's very important that we take heed to everything in the book of Proverbs, everything in the Bible, but really, really paying attention to and making sure that we surround ourselves with like-minded people and that are going to tell us right from wrong. That was so good. I hope you all enjoyed that, and we'll see you tomorrow for chapter 14.